Good morning. Oh, that was good. You guys are really on it. I'm loving it. Good morning. My name is Pastor Cassie. I am so happy to be with you all this morning. We just have a few announcements. One announcement is you might be hearing me a little bit better, and because we got a new majig over there. I don't know what it's called because they do. So, and Arena does, so that's all that matters. But we have a new guy over there, and we're very glad it's there. So we might be messing around with things as we figure out how to have a new relationship with this speaker. But we're very glad that it's here. So yay! And thank you for, because of your participation and donations and tithes to this church, that's why we can buy the necessary tools we need to have worship together so everyone can hear us. So thank you. We do have a couple announcements today. One that I'm pretty excited about is we have Pastor Bob's class on Tuesday, which is super exciting. They're continuing. Are you guys out of chapter 13 yet, or are you moving on to something else, Pastor Bob? Are you guys out of 13, or are you moving into a different one? Chugging along through 13. Gotta love it. So make sure to join Pastor Bob on Tuesday. Also, we have our logo collab that is happening. I had some people ask me, they're like, well, what if only a few people submit something? And I was like, well, that isn't very collaborative. So that means that we'll just move on and we don't have to change everything. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep things open, but if it isn't a good chunk of participation from people, then we don't have to do anything. And we will make things an honor and respect what we have now. So we'll just keep going and it'll be great. Next, I wonder if this got updated. Oh, this. Yeah, you should come. I'm getting installed, and we should definitely have the opportunity to come together on the 18th and in this very sanctuary at 2 p.m., so mark your calendars for that. Okay, so there were two announcements that I wanted to make sure that we went through. One is on the 17th of September, we are going to have something called Pick Up the Point. We have a beautiful amphitheater out there, and I am so excited for the chance that we get to have to utilize it, but it needs some love. And so what we're going to do is on the 17th, that Saturday, from 10 to noon, bring your work gloves. If you have a truck, bring your truck. We're going to pick up the point. And there's some more information there in your bulletin, and there definitely will be pizza, so don't worry. Because on the 23rd, that next Friday, we are going to have an opportunity to partner with our dear friend Steve Rarick and have a worship night out at the point. So we're very excited that our very own praise team is going to participate in that, and it will be such a lovely time. There'll be more information to come, and it's just going to be a blast. So mark your calendars for that, and also always refer to your bulletin for those announcements in there. We've got good stuff going in there. So, and then again, we're still dealing with this pandemic, and so I appreciate that you wear what makes you feel comfortable. If for some reason you forgot your mask, that's okay. We have masks in the narthex, and you can always come and pick one up. So, so we're doing great. Well, let us all take a deep breath together. Center and know that we are all here for Christ. And let's pray. Creator God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this community and for the ways in which you have brought each one of us together to this place for so many different reasons. And yet the main reason is because of your Son. We claim your goodness, God. We claim the joy, and we claim your presence with us here, no matter where we're at in our lives, no matter where we're at emotionally or physically, you are with us. Thank you, God. Be with us now. Allow us to feel the presence of your Holy Spirit. In your Son's name, amen.
Please stand if you are able for the call to worship. If you come into this place with the hope of growing deeper, with the hope of connecting, with the hope of glimpsing God, and if all those things take place and your spirit is moved and you swear God is near and you feel more than lucky for the gift of faith, and then the service comes to an end and it's time for you to leave and you ask yourself, where do we go from here? Then I would say to you, go out into the world to love and to share and to learn, but come back soon, because this is the beginning. This is only the beginning. So come on in, fill your cup here, be present here. God is here. Let us worship Holy God.
Sometimes on this journey I get lost in my mistakes. What looks to me like weakness is a canvas for strength. And my story isn't over, my story isn't done. 'Cause failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does.
Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house.
Arrival's not the end game, the journey's where you are. You never wanted perfect, you just wanted my heart. And the story isn't over if the story isn't good. Failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Failure's never final when the Father's in the room. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house.
Prodigals come home, the helpless find hope. Love, prison doors fling wide, the dead come to life. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Miracles take place, the cynical find faith. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Jericho walls are quaking, strongholds now are shaking. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Ooh, lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house. Ooh, lay your burdens there's shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. Ooh, you're in the Father's house.
One of the things I love about the prayer of confession is it allows us to claim that we are works in progress, and there's beauty in that. You don't have to be perfect here. You have to have it all figured out here. You don't have to have a 5-step plan for what's next year. You just have to show up with your messy, beautiful self and be honest. So friends, let us be honest. Let us pray the prayer of confession together. Holy God, we're at rules when it comes to stalling out. We reach a certain point in the relationship, in our conversation, in our faith, and then we stall. We buy property on the top of the plateau and build a house there, destined to never dig deeper or climb higher. Forgive us for giving up on the things that matter. Forgive us for confusing the plateau with the mountaintop. Forgive us for taking the easy way out instead of doing the hard work of curiosity, relationship building, vulnerability, and connection. Inspire us to see new paths for where we can go from here. With open honesty we pray. Amen. Let's continue our confession in silent prayer. Family of faith, we are works in progress, but we are works in progress designed, created, and claimed by God. No matter what you have done or left undone this week, today is a fresh start. Hear and believe the good news of the gospel. God is with me on the mountaintop, and God is with me on the plateau. I am loved, claimed, and forgiven. Thanks be to God. Amen. Let's see. As the children are leaving for Sunday school, ask someone in your group or someone new what energizes you or excites you.
Let's join together in our time of prayers of the people and great thanksgiving. Pray with me. God of conversation, we are here, trying to be courageous. We are trying to be curious. We are here trying to build connections in this lonely and isolated world. We want to be somewhere other than here sometimes. We want to be standing in a place and a time that is closer to what you promised, where all are fed, prisoners are freed, homeless are housed, and every person knows their worth. Feel free to add a description of what God's promised day looks like for you. And as we know, we can't get there without honesty and vulnerable conversation. but we don't always know how to ask. We fear saying the wrong thing. We fear of offending someone. So we eat our words and stay quiet, hoping that the answers will come, but they don't always come. Connection has never been quite so easy, and so today we ask for your words. Plant questions in us like seeds. Grow into a garden of connection. Plant affirmation in us that, like laughter, is contagious and mood-changing. Plant curiosity in us that, like rain, washes away the judgment we carry, replacing it with a desire to understand. And when we have no words in our mouth, and our mind and in our hearts, teach us how to listen. Teach us how to hear the message under the words, to hear the grief, the hurt, the fear, and the shame that hangs under the sentences like bats under a bridge. Help us to hear what makes space and make space for those unspoken truths. Then teach us how to listen to the voices that differ from us, the voices with different opinions, different histories, different perspectives, so that like Ruth and Naomi, we might move through disagreement and ultimately find you. God of conversation, we are here trying to be courageous. We are here trying to be curious. We are here trying to build connections. And it is easier said than done. We need you like we need this community, like we need the sunrise every morning. So draw near to us. Teach us how to speak. Teach us how to listen. Teach us how to find you in the places between our words. And as you do, hear the prayers of our hearts now. We continue to lift up the Spradlins. We ask, Lord, for your continued support and care for them. We continue to lift up Bev Dunlap and her family as she is in hospice care. We ask, Lord, for your peace that surpasses all understanding to be with them. And we lift up the hurts and the cries of our hearts now silently to you. God of conversation, we have been meaning to ask, where do we go from here? How do we speak truth? How do we listen for you? Guide us, be with us, hold us, unsettle us, catch us, feed us, fill us, meet us. God, we are open. Pour into us. And gratefully we pray the prayer that your Son taught us, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who have sinned against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. That was so cool. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm just consistently blown away with the musicality of this congregation. It just makes my heart so happy. What excites me? I asked you all about that question. What excites you? What excites me is music and these moments together where we get to joy and share them together. What were some of the things that excited you? Shout it out. Coming to church, nice and loud. Being with family, absolutely. Gardening, agility, able to exercise, grandkids, multiple people talking over each other at once. It was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing what excites you and what brings you joy. As a community, we get to share in those joys together, and my hope is that as we continue to navigate what it looks like to be a community together, we will learn more of those things that bring us joy, whether it is gardening or mountain biking or hiking or family, whatever it may be. I pray that we get to share that with one another. Before I dive into our passage today, or the first chapter of Ruth, I do want to let you know that it does deal with some hard stories. Once again, it is another difficult story of death and loss and grief. And so whatever you need to do, whether it is disassociate by playing on your phone, I won't judge you, do what you need to do. If you need to leave the space, I support you. I just want you to know that we are dealing with a hard chapter of the Bible right now. And I want to honor wherever you're at, because where you're at is okay and it is good. And I would ask, if you are struggling, reach out to the people that you see around you, because that's what we've been talking about. We have been talking about supporting one another, listening to one another, having that healthy curiosity for one another. So, with a healthy curiosity, let us hear the word of the Lord. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem in Judah went to live in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. And the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judea. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. These took Moabite wives. The name of one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. When they had lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, so that the woman was left without her sons and without her husband. Then she started to return with her daughters-in-law from the country of Moab, for she had heard that the country of Moab, that the Lord had considered his people and given them food. So she set out from the place where she had been living, she and her 2 daughters-in-law, and they went on their way to go back to the land of Judea. But Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with me and with the dead. The Lord grant that you may find security, each of you, in the house of your husband." Then she kissed them, and they wept aloud. They said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb that they may become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters, go on your way, for I am too old to have a husband. And even if I thought there was hope for me, even if I should have a husband tonight and bear sons, would you wait until they were grown? Would you then refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, it has been far more bitter for me than for you, because the hand of the Lord has turned against me." Then they wept aloud again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. So she said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not press me to leave you, to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do thus to me and more as well, even if death parts me from you." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. So the two of them went until they came to Bethlehem. When they came to Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. The women said, "Is this Naomi?" She said to them, "Call me no longer Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. And I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has dealt so harshly with me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me?" So Naomi returned together with Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, who came back with her from the country of Moab. They came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley festival, or harvest. The word of the Lord. Let's pray. Creator God, we ask you for your clarity, your ability to hear your words today. I ask, Lord, that whatever would influence each person here, that would stick in their hearts, stick in their minds, and stick in their soul, and whatever else would be brushed away to the wayside. Allow your goodness, allow your Holy Spirit to be with us. In your Son's name, amen. Now, I have had some healthy curiosity around why I wear a clerical collar. And I have been asked multiple times by different people, so what are you wearing? What's that about? So I figured I should take a moment to give you some history. It's short, I promise. The clerical collar is worn by Anglican, Methodists, Lutherans, Catholics, and Presbyterians. So across Protestant denominations, the clerical collar has been worn. And this type of collar is a detachable clerical collar. I can actually pull this thing out like that, and then I just slip it all back in, doop, doop, like this, and here it is. It's very fancy, I know. But this was actually invented in 1865 by Reverend Donald MacLeod of the Church of Scotland, which is actually Presbyterian. So this was actually created by a Presbyterian minister, and everyone kind of stole it from us. So, but for me, why I wear this is because it's a reminder of my ordination. I know it just happened a couple months ago, but it is a reminder of the oath, the vow that I took on June 18th. It's a reminder of the weight of leadership that it holds. Just one of the vows that I took was to be a faithful teaching elder, proclaiming good news in word and sacrament, teaching faith, and caring for people. A light load. Whew. Teaching faith. That's heavy. That's a lot. And so I wear this as a reminder that this is not something to take lightly. It's a reminder of the oath that I took and the oath that I will continue to take and will take again specifically for this church at my installation. What vows have you taken in your life? What oaths have you made? Maybe it was public. Maybe it was a marriage, a vow of a covenant between two people to love each other no matter what. Maybe it was in the military, an oath to our country. Maybe it was unspoken between you and a friend. What about that oath that you took at your baptism or your confirmation? An oath to be a member of this church. When was that vow for you? What was that oath? In our story today, Ruth takes her vow seriously. She is not messing around. This is a story of two women who have dealt with the unthinkable. In the start, we have a family that leaves their homeland because of a famine. And they go to Moab. And we might not understand exactly what Moab is, but to give some context here, during this time, Moab was the place you did not want to go for an Israelite. Moabites were not invited into the home of Jewish families at the time. The Moabites were the ones where it's like, oh, well, that's like the armpit of society over there. It was not desirable. And yet this family goes out and seeks to stay there, which for a Jewish family at the time expresses their desperation, expresses the state that they must have been in to find a place to settle that was in Moab. Not only does Moab become their home, it becomes the place where their two sons get married. They find their partner in life, their wife, they find that person, which means they really made their home there. They didn't just camp out for a little bit. They settled. They made friends. And unlike what might have happened if it was gone in the opposite direction, they were welcomed. They were received. And they became family. The unthinkable happens, and Naomi's husband passes. And then, a few years later, both of her sons pass. Now, as a reminder, during this time, women were not valued very much. And to be a widow, to be someone without sons, was to not have much authority, was to not have the people that would bring food to you. It meant that you were at a loss, you were lesser in society. And so now, not only has Naomi lost her husband, but she's lost her sons, she has lost her security. And she has to make the decision of whether to remain a refugee in a foreign land or go home. And as she's walking, I can imagine her like, all right, ladies, let's go. They pack everything up, and then she realizes, wait, not only do I not have the resources that I need to survive, I can't take care of you two. I can't provide what you need so that you have the security. And it says that as she told this to her daughter-in-laws, they wept together, which means it was not an easy parting. It was not a separation of, oh, well, we just kind of liked each other, but they cared for one another. This separation was causing grief. It was a death in itself. And this family she was saying, I can't be family for you. I almost wonder if she was pushing them away because those two women were the reminders of her sons. Seeing the faces of these two young women, her daughter-in-laws, were too connected. She was just trying to isolate and center and just survive. She's functioning, we really see where she's coming from at this time. She's functioning out of a place of fear, anger, grief, isolation. And so Orpah logically says, I get it. I'll go. I understand. And we don't know what happens to her, but we can hope and pray that she found the security and the people and the family that she needed to be able to survive well. But Ruth's response was a little different. Ruth's response echoes the unending and far-reaching love that Christ has for us. It reveals this way that God is not ever leaving us, even in those times when we cannot see God. And she makes this vow. And I can imagine her having a little bit of sass as she says this, don't you pressure me to leave. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Heavy words, weighted words, a covenant. What we see here is that after tragedy, Ruth expresses a new covenant. She doubles down across religious, across cultural, and generational divides. These two women were from different tribes, different cultures, and yet they choose each other. And she says, no, I will not leave you in your time of need. And she goes that step beyond. Your life is my life now. I'm not going anywhere. And she does this with great risk, because she will no longer be the one in her homeland. She will now be the refugee in a land that does not appreciate her. She's following her mother-in-law into a new place where she will be the foreigner, and her mother-in-law, the widow, the older widow of the two, will be reliant on her. But she knows that if they stick together, maybe they can make something happen. So Naomi goes, all right, you can come. And as they arrive in Bethlehem, it's causing a stir. And it's like if someone you haven't seen for a long time shows up and you're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? It's so good to see you. Tell me all the things. Oh, that happened. Okay. And instead of hiding, I really honor and respect what Naomi did. She said, listen, it has been a terrible year. Don't call me Naomi anymore. Now, in Hebrew, the name Naomi means pleasantness. She's like, I am not pleasantness anymore. I am Mara, which means bitterness. She's saying, I am angry, I am frustrated, and I cannot handle anyone trying to convince me otherwise. And I really love that this is in this passage, because just because we have community doesn't mean we don't feel pain. Just because of this commitment that has been made by Ruth to stick by her, it doesn't mean that all of the sorrow that Naomi has been feeling just disappears. No. She has some healing to do. And when we talked about Hannah a few weeks back, we talked about how each person needs a witness to that pain. And by Naomi changing her name to bitter, to Mara, she was saying, witness my pain so that I can get through it and heal. Pain doesn't just disappear, but we can and should name it in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of change, in the midst of transition. In the face of loss, we see this family tie, we see it strengthen spiritually through this bond of connection, community, and commitment. We actually see God's ability to redefine what a family looks like. This was not a typical looking family, 2 widows. And yet God redefined it through this story. They chose one another, and they are family. Will you commit? Have you committed? You've shown up today for this family of Palisades Presbyterian Church. At one point and another, you made a commitment to Christ. Will you commit here again? We are in a time of transition. This is just week 8 for me. What does your commitment look like today? And for those that you are not a member yet, but you are a valued friend of Palisades Pres, what might it look like to commit to this place becoming your home? For some of us, it may look like action right now. Your commitment is movement. It's let's make things happen. Let's go. Let's get things done. For others of you, it may be letting others take the lead. Maybe you've been acting too much and you're so tired that you, like Orpah, need to go home and be with your family and take a rest. Maybe for others, it's being like the people in Bethlehem who received Naomi and Ruth saying, wait, what happened? I'm going to have a healthy curiosity for you. What is going on in your life? How can I witness with you today? Whatever the commitment level that you are at, it is vital to this community. Whether it is time for you to take action, nominating committee is coming up. Maybe it's time for you to take action and step into leadership. But maybe you have been leading so long that you need to take a break, and that is okay. Whatever commitment you are at will be honored in this space. It is seen as good. It's going to be different for all of us. And we have to cling to one another as we seek to be the community that we have been striving to be all along. A community of dignity, respect, where we are all God's kids. We share in mutuality, interdependence, and that healthy curiosity. May we seek to cultivate curiosity, ask questions, have conversations, and seek connection so that we can humanize each other and care for each other in a way that makes God smile. May God continue to redefine this community as we enter into this time of transition and change and seek to live into a time of thriving and growth. Amen. one thing. We have new questions in the fellowship hall. You'll actually see a bunch of the other questions as well of the little packets. Please take them home, or actually take them home next week. But I want to encourage you to continue to have curiosity for one another as we ask, what is something you deeply long for? What is something that excites you? Share about a time when you found empathy for someone and it surprised you. We all come from different places and different times with different beliefs and political standings and different everything. So have healthy curiosity for one another and ask some questions.
Good morning. The closing hymn, Where Charity and Love Prevail, uses a tune called Saint Peter. I'm sure that helps you immensely. But in the traditional hymn world, we know it is, in Christ there is no east or west, in him no south or north, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide earth. So I think some of you will know that, but by the time you get to verse 6, I think I will be able to hear you all with great voice. Stand, yes. Where charity and love prevail, there God is ever found. Brought here together by Christ's love, by Christ are we thus bound. With grateful joy and holy fear, true charity we learn. Let us with heart and mind and strength now love Christ in return. Forgive we now each other's faults, as we our faults confess. And let us love each other well in Christian holiness. Let strife among us be unknown, let all contention cease. Be Christ the glory that we seek, make sure his holy peace. Let us recall that in our midst dwells God's begotten Son. As members of his body joined, we are in him made one. Love can exclude no race or creed, if honored be God's name. Our common life embraces all, whose maker is the same.
The story of Ruth and Naomi is the story of God working through people. Naomi needs Ruth to make it back to home and to start fresh. And next week, just as Peter and Cornelius needed each other to understand God's message. Mary needed Elizabeth, Jesus needs the disciples, and Moses needed Aaron. The story of our faith is one that constantly reminds us that we cannot do this work alone. So in community, we ask ourselves, where do we go from here? And one answer to that question is that we give what we can from what we have and trust that God will continue to move us closer to that promised day. So family of faith, I invite you to give of your tithes and offerings as you leave this place, knowing that this is the work of the community, this work of faith. And that is why we give. So as you leave, if you have brought your tithe with you, there are offering bins at the doors, but also there are ways to look into your bulletin and find where other ways to support this ministry and this community. Okay, if you haven't been here before, we have been working on our benediction together. And so what will happen is I will sing the benediction over you, and then you all will respond by singing that benediction back to one another and looking at people. Oh, I should turn this way. And looking at people and sending everyone out together through our love and community. So here we go. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord shine their face upon you and bring you peace forever. May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord shine their face upon you and bring you peace forever. Amen. Go and serve God.